JFK Head Chunk, what's the show covering the debate tomorrow? Oh, that is Who Are These Broadcasters? It's on at 2 p.m. Eastern time on this channel. And they'll be covering the debate tonight. JFK Head Chunk says, sorry I missed it. Debate show tomorrow? Yes. Who Are These Broadcasters? With Christian and Eric on this channel.
That's a killer name.
JFK Head Chunk, $2. WATB have Eric Zane and Christian Bladt. Is JFK Head Chunk Eric Zane or Christian Bladt? Because now I'm starting to think. Another $2. Sorry, what time is WATB live tomorrow?
Okay,
it's 2 p.m.
definitely
Eastern.
Eric Zane then.
Yes. Thank you for reminding everybody.
We sense a lot of energy on this program. I sense there's a lot of nervousness on the Kamala side.
Trump is probably the greatest political debater we've ever had in American history.
Do I think that she will be able to rattle him in any way? No, I would argue right now the chance is 0.001%.
You're listening. Yeah, like all the time I'm listening.
WATB with Christian, Eric, and Carl sometimes.
Listen in your office, in your car, or even your neighborhood.
Open your mouth, close your eyes. We're going to give you a big surprise. And here it is.
Who were these broadcasters yesterday?
No.
Half of the hosts didn't show up.
Which half?
Eric Zane
Oh.
was not there. And Christian just couldn't get a hold of him, didn't know what was going on. So he got JJ last minute to hop in with him and do the show.
It was more Christian and less him.
And so I texted immediately. I'm like, guys, we're going to have a meeting with corporate on this one. This is a pretty big deal. And I guess Eric Zane wasn't feeling good. He laid down for a nap or something and never woke up.
Fucking old people, man. And never woke up.
Didn't wake up in time. Never woke up. He's still with us.
Yes, indeed. Welcome to Who Are These Broadcasters? And they say that lightning doesn't strike twice. And actually it doesn't, because he's ready and he's rested. And believe me, he is rested. The one, the only America's sweetheart, Eric in Zane Asylum. Zane, EZ, welcome back to the show. We missed you.
Thank you very much for saying all of that. I have no excuse. It's boy, that's a bad feeling when you wake up and you kind of don't know where you're at. Oh, fuck, hang on, I gotta adjust it so that you can't see the kicked in door.
I mean, people do love the kicked in door, but I will go ahead and let you fix that. And I think for that moment of your life, you knew what it was like to be John Melendez, to wake up and have no idea where you were, to have let people down by your slovenly lifestyle. As we showed in the clip, that was put together by our buddy JJ. JJ literally filled in for you with like 30 seconds notice.
No,
he was there in a minute. We had a great show. But we did miss you. I'm glad that all's well today.
No, you know what? It's amazing JJ was able to do that. And the reason why he can pull that off in such short notice is because of his outstanding health. That is why he's able to quickly move and make a beeline to in front of the camera, because he's a pristine athlete is what he is.
He is. He's in the best shape of his career. He's going to have an MVP season. I think we all know that. You know it. I know it. The American people know it. And he actually had literally just finished a conference call. So he was sitting at his computer.
Okay.
So that helped. You missed some fun stuff last week, Eric, but we do have some fun stuff today, fortunately. I'm not going to lie. The debate might be the whole show. I have so many clips, like I always do, easily could be the whole show. So, Eric, I told you this beforehand. I'm going to do like when we did the DNC. If you feel like, you know what, we need to tap out on some politics for a few minutes, you let me know. We'll go. I got plenty of other stuff that I don't expect to get to today, but I'm loaded just in case we need some alternative programming.
I mean, I think that we are at peak comedy right now with the politics.
Sure.
I really do. So I don't know if I'm even the right guy to ask, because I find so much of this shit outstanding. And let me tell you, if you're anyone that says, I don't like talking politics, it's because you're a goddamn pussy. Okay? Let me just tell you that, because this is fucking great shit. This is fucking incredible what's happening in this country. I'm so happy that this is going down.
I'm so happy that people hate each other so much right now. And in any case, I didn't end up pulling the clips, but I wanted to hear what Howard Stern had talked about this morning. And he talked a little bit about the debate, but basically he's like, yeah, I don't want to talk about the debate because then everybody writes how much they hate me when I give my opinions. I'm like, who's the guy who used to get in a fight with management at WNBC every single day? No, I don't want to tell people what I think. We know what you think. No. That part you're right. But yeah. I think he could have spent a couple of minutes on it. And
I think we're getting back to a point where even if people hate, like if I'm listening to someone who's got a stupid opinion that I hate, as long as they do a good job presenting it, I will listen. I will pay attention to it. It might be that I agree 0%. But if they engage me and it's fun to listen to it, fuck yeah. That's anybody who says what Stern said is taking the easy way out. That's bullshit. Put your fucking foot down and say something.
Yeah, and also I love finding clips from people who I don't really respect, and yet I feel like they say something funny. How many Nick Fuentes? We had Benny Johnson in the pre-roll, the stuff before the show actually started. So there's plenty of people out there that I don't have much to say what they think. You give me a good clip, I am going to play it, and we have some of those, but maybe Eric Zane isn't the person to tell us when in this show we should tap out of the debate talk. So I'm going to deputize our audience for money. So as long as you give a $10 or more super chat and you say, hey, let's take a break from politics for a little bit. Money before funny, as Bidel and he used to say. He's trying to put the funny before money at this point. And speaking of money, Reverend Shitstain Powerful Pooper, why Dick tease us with Carl, then take him away? I don't know. I think we want people in the audience to be able to climax. All right. I don't have a good answer. Why do you think Carl's not here, Zane?
He's a busy man. And besides, he doesn't want to slum it with us, for God's sake.
No. He probably is talking to successful broadcasters like Drew Lane today. And he's also got a great episode coming up today, because we are doing this on a Wednesday, thanks to the debate schedule. 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern. Carl have a new WATP with the great Pat Oates. Dang Lizard says, Eric Snooze made it. Hope the B team has fun. Yeah, I guess that's the point, is that JJ became the A team. And I have this comment. This is from the poor chat. How about you give me a couple bucks? But the fact that he says John shits his pants, he figured out a way to do that in his name. Let's hear the spin on how Trump was in a complete disaster last night. MAGA Carl is going to just do it. And spinning off of the title of this episode, Andrew L., a trans illegal alien just ate my non-binary cat.
Okay.
Sorry for your loss, Andrew. Mm-hmm. So my question is going to be answered by the audience. If they're into it, we're going to keep going. And I know there's been already like 7 minutes of ramp up, but we had to make fun of Zane for taking a nap last week.
Absolutely. Right? That was, and by the way, the part about I didn't feel good, that's a lie. I just fucking forgot and went to bed.
Yeah.
It can now be told. There was no feeling not well. That was just to save face, but I'm now taking that back. I completely lost my
Sorry, I didn't mean to hit that. That's on me. I was just trying to shut you up. No. I clicked where I shouldn't have. My apologies. So yeah, I was just like, oh, okay. He told Carl, because we're on two text threads. There's one you and me, and then there's one you, me, and Carl. The one to Carl, you mentioned you weren't feeling well. You had a rough night last night. The one to me is like, yeah, I'm an asshole. So for the boss, you try to make yourself look better.
Yeah, that's exactly what I did.
All right. So, and the way super chats work on this show is, yes, $10. We'll talk about something other than politics, but the highest dollar amount is going to be my sign off. All that being said, let's dive into politics and talk about the debate.
Who are these politics?
And you missed all of the new interstitials, all the new jingles last week. So we have our new logo here. We're trying to look like a more professional show. We're having the uniformity. And yes, Carl, you're absolutely right. They should smash that like button. Please smash the like button. Subscribe. Memberships, gifted memberships. I'm not going to say all the rest. Super chats and gifted memberships. That's what we're interested in this show. And great to see the great Carl Hamburger here. So I want to remind everybody that we didn't do an episode like this for the Trump-Biden debate for the simple fact that I was on vacation. And by the time I came back, it was definitely old news. Some people might build a narrative out of the fact that we didn't do one of those. But I do have a highlight reel for what that Trump-Biden debate looked like.
He's stealing all the burgers! Why, you little... I touch you! Go!
It's all just an act.
Stop! Stop! He's already dead.
No! I gotta get him!
Yeah, so that's pretty much the way I remember it. Does that seem about right to you, Eric?
Yeah. Boy, that was something. It's been so strange, the politics cycle, because if you remember, it all was assassination attempt, RNC, debate, and it was win after win for red. And it was like, oh, not only is he going to win, he's going to win at a landslide. I think everybody agreed on that. And it seems like the wind's blowing different now. Is that just me feeling that?
I mean, I don't know. I think it depends on where you're standing, but there are definitely breezes that feel a little bit differently. And the fact that everything was coming up Trump through the RNC is why he picked an absolute nothing like JD Vance as his running mate. Because they're just, let's try to run up the board. Let's try and get 538 electoral votes. Not even Reagan got that. Mondale got 13. Anyway, so there was a lot of that. But I have another clip that to me illustrates what I think that the approach was for Democrats.
I'm laughing at the superior intellect.
So, yeah, I don't get enough of a chance to play Star Trek clips. That's what that really comes down to, Eric.
You're such a dork.
I know. Thank you. At least I embrace it. So if you're looking for clippable one-liners, laugh points from last night's debate, there is one clear winner for the evening. Donald J. Trump. We're going to spin some of his greatest hits from last night. And these are the greatest hits. So I don't know if you want to talk up the record and try and hit the post. But maybe I'll just play this clip where he's talking about how Kamala does not have a plan.
She doesn't have a plan. She copied Biden's plan, and it's like 4 sentences, like run, spot, run. 4 sentences that are just, we'll try and lower taxes. She doesn't have a plan. Take a look at her plan. She doesn't have a plan.
I think Run Spot Run was pretty good. I mean, that's, let's say that's a broken bat single. That's not a home run.
Is that is he trying to say go dog go or a C spot run or?
Well, yeah, that's what I think he's talking about. Sort of the introductory reading books for children.
Okay.
The C spot run. Yeah.
All right. That, I mean, I get it. I get the attempt, but it does. I don't know. I just get the feeling he wasn't prepped with that. I think maybe a little bit trying to make up too much stuff.
All right. Well, I think he had this one in his back pocket, and he might have broken the glass a little bit early. Okay. This was in one of his first couple of answers. And I think this is a great line from Trump, especially because I was talking to a very liberal friend who got out of shape and tried to tell me why it wasn't funny. And I was like, okay, great. I can't wait to play this on the show.
Weak, pathetic man that you saw at a debate just a few months ago, that if he weren't in that debate, he'd be running instead of her. She got no votes. He got 14 million votes. What you did, you talk about a threat to democracy. He got 14 million votes, and they threw him out of office. And you know what? I'll give you a little secret. He hates her. He can't stand her. But he got 14 million votes.
He can't stand her. He hates her. And he's probably not wrong, by the way.
Well, yeah, probably. I mean,
she's not number one. It's probably Pelosi, Schumer, everybody who kind of, when the rest of the team comes out before the manager takes a pitcher out, when they kind of circle them, you're not out of it.
Great comparison analogy, because you're right. And then when he cools down, the pitcher's like, he was right. I was cooked,
Yeah.
So he probably does hate her. And I love that he said it. Yeah. I love that he said that. That's fantastic, because that's a great clip. Jesus Christ.
This is why we tune in to see him. This is why 4 years of Trump would be amazing for this show. Yeah. All right. I don't know how.
No matter what, we win no matter what, because she's going to talk, do some things that people are going to get so goddamn pissed off at.
Correct.
Especially now, because you would have to agree, if you were to lay out the audience, would you say it's somewhat Republican or strongly Republican or way Republican? What would you?
I would say strongly, but we get comments in the chat from people that don't feel that way, and I have a lot of friends who are conservatives who are not really Trump people, but they're not anti-Trump. They're not never Trump, so there's a, and look, a lot of people like nobody voted for Kamala Harris in the Democratic primaries. So she's nobody's dream date.
Right. And that whole point about the 14 million votes, I mean, that when you put it in those words,
yeah,
that was absolutely an accurate description of what actually happened.
Yeah, I think that's something that comes from the debate prep. I have two moments that I think come from the debate prep. He knew he was going to say that. This one that we're about to play is, I think that this is a celebrity roast caliber joke that he has here. It's at Biden, who's, not there that night. And I'm sure he was in bed already. It started at 9 o'clock Eastern, but he's got a great one for Biden.
We would both leave this debate right now. I'd like to see her go down to Washington, D.C. during this debate, because we're wasting a lot of time. Go down to, because she's been so bad, it's so ridiculous. Go down to Washington, D.C. and let her sign a bill to close up the border, because they have the right to do it. They don't need bills. They have the right to do it. The president of the United States, you'll get him out of bed, you'll wake him up at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, you'll say,
you'll wake him up at 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with sleeping at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. God damn it.
Well, that's what I was going to ask, is if he was talking about you. But that's a great line for Biden. That's a great line about Biden from Trump. This next one's not a joke. This one is, okay, he has a really good point. This is the other moment, I think, from the debate prep.
I probably took a bullet to the head because of the things that they say about me. They talk about democracy. I'm a threat to democracy.
Yeah. So I think that's a powerful line. It's a powerful image. If he hadn't said that, it's not like the assassination attempt came up during the course of the evening, So
yeah, I think that's smart. I mean, if you get shot in the head and somehow you manage to still be in a fight for your life, you got to go back to the fact that you got shot in the head. You got to remind people that you took a bullet for America. I mean, the fact that this is even a close contest is shocking to me. He got shot in the head and then stood up and said, "Go fuck yourself." And he still is in the fight of his life. How can this possibly be?
Yeah.
He must be horrible.
Well, I'm going to put all the blame on JD Vance. I think that's what it is. People are so turned off by him that they forget. So as I was watching the first part of this debate, the way that a responsible parent would on my cell phone during my daughter's soccer practice, I thought, I bet our WATB crowd is going to really like this moment. Maybe Eric Zane's going to like this one. Now, remember, their microphones are muted when they're not talking. But that didn't stop old comrade Kamala from trying to get in Trump's way.
She was big on defund the police. In Minnesota, she went out. Wait a minute. I'm talking now. If you don't mind, please. Does that sound familiar?
Does that sound familiar?
Fuck, man. I'm telling you, he's sharp as fuck. That's pretty quick.
Yeah, no, it's great. And I think that the ladies in the audience might not be too excited with that tone. And I'm sorry to have to remind our audience that it does matter, because some genius somewhere decided to give women the right to vote. Nobody asked me. Nobody asked Eric Zane. I don't think they're going to appreciate this one either.
I would have been sitting in Moscow. Quiet, please.
Quiet, please. I do need that as a drop on our board. Just quiet, please. I feel like.
Shit. Oh, God. I love it. It is so fantastic. Look at this.
Go ahead and read that from the great douche of the Dabbleverse, who you'll be seeing in recorded form a little bit later in this episode. I'll get to that. But go ahead and read that from the douche.
Douche of the Dabbleverse, who earlier said, "I have a feeling Eric Zane is going to piss me off today." Says Zane is now in the nap club with Carl and Rob Saul. Get this, man. In mandolin school.
Yeah. Personally, I don't think Trump did the job he needed to illustrate. Sorry, Carl.
Carl writes, "We let them drive too." Wahapa.
You see, Carl's making some sense today. I don't know if we agree on music, but he's talking a lot of sense today. And I like where Hamburger's coming from. HAMBURGER. So what I was about to say is that I don't think Trump did what he needed to in terms of illustrating just how far to the left Kamala Harris is and just how liberal her policies are. But this moment really did it, and it's why it's the title of this episode. And I almost skipped it.
To do transgender operations on illegal aliens that are in prison.
Yes, exactly. By the way, what part of that would she complain about? We know she loves putting people in prison. All right. She's got no problem with illegal aliens and no issue with the transgender. So find the lie. I can't. Do you find a lie in there, Easy?
Well, no, I don't. I mean, whether it's happening or not, I mean, let's be honest. I would love to see a YouTube channel where that's all they're doing is making transgender women into men and men into women that think that they're coming into this country, land of opportunity. Oh my God.
That's like some next level, I don't know, Twilight Zone or Fantasy Island level shit. It's like, oh, you want to come to America? Great. You have to change your gender when you get here.
Well, you know,
what do you think?
These have to come from one particular place. Like there's got to be one person who thinks up these scenarios, and then they're either, or maybe it's Trump thinking them up. I don't know. And then they percolate, and the next thing you know, a guy a sniff away from the White House is spewing this bullshit out like it's real. That is all. This all goes to the whole point about how entertaining this all is and how wonderful of a time this is that we are living in, where we can have these great moments. That is fucking great TV.
I'm so excited for a couple weeks from now when Saturday Night Live comes back for its 50th season and manages to fumble every aspect of what should be the biggest layup in the history of the show and not be funny about something that's so inherently funny. I couldn't be more excited about that. Speaking of excited, our friend JFK Headchunk, who donated a lot of money during Carl's emergency episode. We played that at the beginning. We appreciate JFK Headchunk always having our back. He likes his bear meat, so RFK was his guy. Yeah, I get it, you know. And Doom with the important question. Is this a show? Yes, Doom. Yeah. This is a show.
I don't know.
This is definitely a show. Oh, okay.
Maybe.
Well, so clearly the playbook for debating Trump is to bait him, rattle his cage, throw him off, distract him. And I know it's going to be a controversial take in our chat, but it was a pretty baller move the second that it started. She walks out and she shakes his hand. He didn't want to shake her hand. He didn't shake Biden's hand. But
Kamala Harris, let's have a good debate.
See you. Have fun.
Thank you.
I love that he also
said, you have fun.
Have fun. And I know that there might be a split decision on this fight in our chat, but I think she's thinking, oh, I will. You know, whether you think he succeeded or not, she's like, I'm ready for some fun.
Can you imagine if she wiped her hand off? Like when,
if she had like a spray bottle or, you know, even just like a wet wipe or something,
a can of fucking, just spray it on there.
Yeah.
Or she like sniffed her fingers and went, oh, God.
Or she just like, you know, she just lit her hand on fire just to burn it off.
Cut it off. Fucking blood diamond.
I need it. So I think that she started off very poorly. She was asked a question, are you better off than you were 4 years ago? There's a lot of words. Didn't make any sense. It's too long. And, you know, he had a couple of good answers early. But this is like maybe 10 minutes in, and he was doing a pretty good job. But this is where Kamala Harris turned into that cartoon character who casts a fishing line, and there's a carrot on the end of it. And so you dangle it right in front, and it's like, oh, I don't want that carrot, but fuck, I like carrots, don't I? So this is her talking about one of his favorite things to do, hold a rally.
Do something really unusual, and I'm going to invite you to attend one of Donald Trump's rallies because it's a really interesting thing to watch. You will see during the course of his rallies, he talks about fictional characters like Hannibal Lecter.
We've played that.
He will talk about windmills cause cancer.
We've played that.
And what you will also notice is that people start leaving his rallies early out of exhaustion and boredom.
Look at his face.
And I will tell you, the one thing you will not hear him talk about is you.
Okay.
The look on his face when she said boredom.
Yeah.
If there was any chance, because look, I'm not a politician. I don't care that much. The right answer would have been something like, so you have a lot of time to pay attention to my rallies instead of going down to the border. I mean, anything really. You want to pay attention to my rallies instead of, I don't know, doing your job. There's a lot of things you could say there,
Well, yeah, absolutely. And I think that it's very important to have a handle if you're him.
Yeah.
To don't take the bait. That's a fucking not a pro move. If you have to respond to some type of accusation because you think you got to set the record straight, because anybody who loves Trump doesn't believe her anyway.
Right. 100%.
But this turned into such a catastrophe because he was kind of like, she was the aggressor. And I think he kind of fell on his own fucking dick here.
Which, unlike yours, his works, by the way. We know that. His dick.
Big time.
Yeah.
Well, as far as, no, it doesn't.
Well, as far as Stormy Daniels says, let's put it that way.
Yeah.
All right. So David Muir, one of the moderators, and we'll talk about the moderators in a little bit. He's ready to move on. Trump is not.
Agents and officers on the border.
First, let me respond as to the rallies. She said people start leaving. People don't go to her rallies. There's no reason to go.
All right,
and
pause it.
the people that do go, she's but.
Yep.
When he instead of disagreeing with her, he's going nah. What about you?
Yeah.
He's saying, yeah. What about your rallies? That's what he's doing there instead of disputing it, which would have been a mistake. Now he's going in an entirely different world, and he's saying shit that in an effort to get back at her, I guess. Is that what he's doing?
Well, that's his flex. It's talking about his dick. This is basically pulling his pants down and pointing at it and saying, like, people are bored. And, those rallies do start a few hours late sometimes. So I think that everybody that is at that rally is still voting for him. That's not the point. They do tend to drag on. And there's a familiarity to it. I have said that the Trump diehards, like the all-in people, it's kind of like the band Fish, the jam band. They can fill arenas.
Yeah.
But most people you talk to are like, yeah, I don't even know what they sound like. And then you hear it and you go, yeah, I'm not that into it. And I've been saying that for a few months.
Look,
and then but then George Will, who's way smarter than me, said that, Trump fans are like deadheads. And I'm like, well, God damn it. Obviously, I'm almost as smart as George Will. And I'm sorry. What were you going to say?
My point was not every Trump rally can be as exciting as Pennsylvania. I mean, that was sweet.
No.
There was it was short. There was tons of action.
People stayed there even after he was shot. They didn't know what to do. There was a sense of community. A clip I didn't pull from Newsmax. Yeah, I was up until like 2:30 in the morning last night. Yeah, I watched like post game on Newsmax. That's how much I care about our audience. That's how much I want to make Eric Zane laugh. So anyway, let's get back to him talking about the rallies. I was actually going to move on to the next clip, and I'm like, oh wait, we got 8 seconds into this.
And the people that do go, she's bussing them in and paying them to be there.
By the way, and maybe that's true. I'm not going to say it's not true. A better line is the only way people watch her is if they lie and say Beyonce is going to be on before her.
Right.
Yeah, something like that. I don't know. I'm just, he doesn't need my help. I'm just saying.
And then showing them in a different light. So she can't talk about that. People don't leave my rallies. We have the biggest rallies, the most incredible.
Yeah.
She has body language that's saying, go fuck yourself. She's actually saying, go fuck yourself with that.
Yeah. Newsmax took great umbrage with her sitting like that. Do you remember on school picture day, you'd have to do like 4 poses?
Yeah.
This was one of them. And I was like, I would always tell my mom, you don't buy that slur looking picture of me where I'm rested on my hand. I don't want that in my house. I don't want that at grandma and grandpa's house. Do not buy the one where they made me go like, what do you think, Donald? Anyway, so yes, it's very disrespectful, but that's the point.
Incredible rallies in the history of politics. That's because people want to take their country.
Yeah, they want to take their country back. All right, I guess that,
All right.
I guess that one was done.
All right.
All right. So if I had to guess, there was one thing in his debate prep whatever you do, Donald, do not look at me in the eyes. I know you're the former president and the next president. We all love you. Do not bring up the story about Ohio. Are you listening? Oh, yeah, I got it.
Springfield, they're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets of the people that live there. And this is what's happening in our country. And it's a shame. As far as rallies are concerned.
We'll get to the rallies in a second.
Eating dogs would be a shame. I mean, let's be honest.
It would be a shame. Yeah.
I like how when he says they're taking the dogs and they're using them for food.
Yeah.
Now, unless if the only way that would make sense is if Pablo grabbed the dog and ate it in the driveway, or as he's running away, he said, "Ay, ay, ay, Dios mío, I will eat this for dinner." Or if he ate it and then called up and said, "Ay, ay, ay, I used this for dinner, senor." How the fuck would anybody know that their dog was eaten for dinner?
Que lástima. Hay un perro en mi estómago. Yes, what a shame. There's a dog in my stomach. By the way, something tells me that he's like, great, I'm going to call out the Haitians. No, you're actually polling really well with the Haitians. All right, I'll just say the immigrants then, because that's that story. It's the Haitian community in Springfield, which seems to be a real problem. But I'm sure everybody's like, you can't talk about the dogs. It's like, even if we had proof that it was true, which you don't, you still can't talk about it. It's distracting from the bigger plan. But all right, if you're going to talk about the dogs, whatever you do, don't go back to talking about your rallies.
And it's a shame. As far as the rallies are concerned, as far as the reason they go is they like what I say. They want to bring our country back. They want to make America great again. It's a very simple phrase, make America great again.
Yep. It is a very simple phrase, and it's perfect. It works. It certainly got him elected in 2016. I mean, there's a lot of other factors, but your slogans don't always work. So go ahead.
Sorry, I'm going to jump in. Reverend Shitstain Powerful Pooper says, we have photos and witness testimony from locals of Haitians eating pets. Who's we?
Well, the Powerful Pooper Industries.
Okay.
So,
and then Haitians are black French speakers, not Mexicans. Easy. Okay. So I take back Dios mío, and I have to go with your dog. Does your dog taste good?
Part of being up until 2:30, Reverend Shitstain Powerful Pooper. I found where the dog story started in Springfield. It was a local meeting, and I think that maybe people on TV aren't always telling the truth. Perhaps there are reasons why. I'm not talking about Donald Trump.
They're doing that so that stupid people like him will believe it.
No. I love Reverend Shitstain Powerful Pooper. I'm not calling him a stupid person. That is Eric Zane. I'll put him in the small box if you give me $5, whatever it takes. But anyway, so a lot of people are saying, I can't believe I just said it, but
millions.
There's
millions.
A big part of the conversation is this moment from David Muir that he felt like we're on for millions upon millions of people around the world. We're on like every channel. We're like the VMAs. We're on every channel at the same time right now. I got to say something, as a journalist, he felt that this was important to do.
If I hear you bring up Springfield, Ohio, and ABC News did reach out to the city manager there. He told us there have been no credible reports of specific claims of pets being harmed, injured, or abused by individuals within the immigrant community.
Well, I've seen people on television.
Let me just say here, this is the...
I've seen people on television.
Okay.
I when I was in college, I told a girl I had a 9.5-inch cock. I'll tell you what, it's not true. Mine and EZ's taped together probably don't make that true, okay? Especially since his doesn't work. And look,
True.
Could this be true? 100%. 100%, as our buddy Quadfather would say. But you don't have the proof. The only proof is, a couple of people have said it. I don't want a video of this happening.
Yeah.
If Reverend Shitstain tells me I've seen a video, I'll send it to you. I'll be like, know what? I believe you.
Yeah.
You saw a video. I don't want to see it. I believe Reverend Shitstain. He's not going to make that up.
Yeah, I believe that he made up the story, Reverend Shitstain. In fact, Trump should have said, Reverend Shitstain, powerful pooper, on the internet said it, so it's got to be true. That's what he's doing. He's doing the here's my proof, bro, or whatever the fuck it is.
Oh yeah.
He's
your
like that
proof
little
is
guy.
Your proof is trust me, bro.
Yes, who is that little guy? The fucking Gary Coleman guy.
Yeah, Emmanuel Lewis. We call him Webster.
Whatever the fuck. He did that. That's what Shitstain is doing there. It's silly. Oh my God.
By the way, the super chats were really coming in when we were playing the clips about how funny Trump was being. It's dried up a little bit, but that's all right. We do this because we have fun with it. And Trump's like, I saw people on TV talking about
immigrant community.
Well, I've seen people on television.
Let me just say here, this is
the people on television say my dog was taken and used for food. So maybe he said that, and maybe that's a good thing to say for a city manager.
I'm not taking this from
but
television.
the people
I'm
on
taking it from
television
the city
saying their
manager.
dog was eaten by the people that went there.
Again, the Springfield city manager says there's no evidence of that. Vice President Harris.
We'll find out.
Well, yeah, we'll go there. JD Vance is going to go there and walk into the donut shop and ask stupid questions. Hey, are dogs eating here? Yeah, good.
JD Vance is very proud of that story because he feels like him sharing memes, the kitten memes. He's like, finally, people are paying attention because of our memes. Maybe people are laughing at JD Vance instead of with him. I don't know. But a lot of people felt like David Muir didn't need to step in there. But if you don't want to get, if you don't want to get fact checked, don't talk about people eating dogs when you don't know they're eating dogs. If nobody showed you pictures of a dog barbecue, I saw a picture of RFK where it looked like he sure ate a dog. Some people say it wasn't. I don't know. We'll see. We'll find out. See how it works.
How did so the way it seemed like, did they know? I mean, was that the very first time that this trope was paraded out, or had it been?
Well,
had Reverend Shitstain not published?
Oh no, that story's been going on. The whole show that I basically shit canned that we're not doing today. I had clips about the Haitians.
So this
dogs.
It wasn't like Trump didn't talk to Reverend Shitstain after he fabricated that and then ran with it right there. It's been around a little bit.
It's been around a little bit.
Gotcha.
And but for a lot of people tuning in, especially people in other parts of the world, like, people are eating dogs in Ohio. I mean, look, I don't need an excuse to never go to Ohio, but that's one right there.
Look, even if it was true, if a couple of dogs get eaten, they're probably asshole dogs to begin with. And, there's a lot of people here. There's a lot of immigrants coming and flooding into the country. Some of them are going to eat dogs.
What I will say is the narrative changed to dogs because at first they were talking about cats, but then they remembered everybody hates cats because cats are assholes. So they're like, all right, well, dogs, man's best friend. They felt like they could get Eric Zane because we know you love your dogs, but cats, you could take them or leave them.
Yeah, I want him to eat my neighbor's dog, though, because that fucker won't stop barking. So if a few dogs get eaten because some wonderful Haitians are in our great country to put on roofs and make shit, I say bring them all in. Open border. More dead dogs and more shit gets made. That's a world I want to live in.
Well, I feel like another moment from the debate prep is just whatever you do, don't take the bait on anything racial, okay? And I think he thought that this was a good answer.
Do you believe it's appropriate to weigh in on the racial identity of your opponent?
I don't, and I don't care. I don't care what she is. I don't care. You make a big deal out of something. I couldn't care less. Whatever she wants to be is okay with me.
But those were your words, so I'm asking.
I don't know. I mean, all I can say is I read where she was not black, that she put out, and I'll say that. And
So
that she put out?
That's the real reason I actually have this clip. I don't care about the racial. He said that she put out. So these are the things that he read. Look, that the narrative is definitely that Kamala had some very high profile gentleman suitors and callers, and it probably doesn't hurt your career in the San Francisco Bay Area if you're stooping. We got any Jews in the chat? Shuli, is that the right word? Is stooping the word? Willie Brown? I get it, but I love that he said it. He's like, I read that. I read she was Indian. I read that she puts out, and then she one day decided to be black. Yeah, okay, but it's said sometimes that Trump says the quiet part out loud.
Well,
and that might have been one of those, but tell me I'm wrong in the chat.
Well, I think that if she were smart, she would say, well, yeah, I was surrounded by Asians at the time, so I'm Asian. And then I was surrounded by blacks, so now I'm black, which I am. So he's correct. I mean, if I'm with the blacks, I'm not going to say I'm Asian. Why the fuck would I do that? And oh, by the way, I've had so many cocks in me, it's unbelievable. And most people would be happy that they get tons of dick or pussy. So yes, he is correct on everything.
Yeah, and that's another drop that I need.
Then I read that she was black, and that's okay. Either one was okay with me.
I just wanted to let him finish his thought. So yeah, either one's okay with it. All right. And look, I actually am purposely not looking at the chat because I don't want to get distracted.
Oh, well, the problem is with the chat is they're real sensitive and they have thin skins. And they don't like that I can sit here and do this show. And all I have to say to you is this. Who's stopping you from taking my place? If you weren't a retard, you could have this job.
Well, JJ took your place last week. So.
Well, once. That happened once. But until you can show you have the acumen to be as awesome as I am on a goddamn weekly basis, you're fucked.
Hey, Eric Zane's been in radio since he was 18, okay? So he's a broadcaster. He loves radio, all right? And let me talk to our chat for a second. Just sensitively. Let me just say, facts don't care about your feelings, okay? Sometimes snowflakes need to be reminded that facts don't care about your feelings.
Aren't you the party of, oh, we're tough. Oh, you're a snowflake. Quit being a pussy.
So a moment ago, we had a fact-checking moment. If you don't want to be fact-checked, there's another topic that you should probably steer clear of, and that's abortion. And if you are going to talk about abortion, you should probably use terms like late-term abortions. The term partial birth was going around for a while. That's a horrific concept. Yeah, that idea of partial birth.
Yeah, you basically got to hack stuff out as it presents.
Yeah. But if you're going to say the 9th month, the baby's born, and I'm going to preemptively fact check. See, David Muir could have been like, yeah, idiot. You're talking about Ralph Northam, the former governor of Virginia, not West Virginia. That's the state you're going to carry, West Virginia. You should respect the people who actually are in West Virginia. So he dove into this.
Have abortion in the 9th month. They even have, and you can look at the governor of West Virginia, the previous governor of West Virginia,
regular Virginia,
governor is doing
Ralph
an excellent
Northam.
job. But the governor before, he said the baby will be born and we will decide what to do with the baby. In other words, we'll execute the baby. And that's why I did that, because that predominates.
Yeah. So, and I know people who are very staunchly pro-life. And I understand and I respect, my viewpoint. The first time I heard my first kid's heartbeat, I'm like, oh, maybe I think a little differently about this. But I like to stay out of people's business. That's me. All right. And you can think what you want about me. But the other moderator, this is where I remember that I forgot to look up her name. Sorry. But come on. Is you know what the show is. So she chimes in very matter-of-factly, and I could understand people being upset. But if you say that the baby's born and then we put it aside and we decide whether or not we're going to execute it, somebody might fact check you.
Tremendous credit to those 6 justices.
Sorry, I'm going to
Go
jump
ahead.
in.
Yeah, no problem.
He's suggesting baby comes out. Oh, this is beautiful. Put it in the warming tray or whatever the fuck it is.
Well,
and then some guy comes in with an ice pick like Game of Thrones. And goes,
No. It's more like the mob. It's piano wire. They sneak up behind the baby.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Paulie Walnuts. Gotcha. All right.
Yeah. And let the fact check, and then I'll talk more.
No state in this country where it is legal to kill a baby after it's born. Madam.
Yeah, and then she moves on. There is no state in the union where it is legal to kill a baby after it's born. And believe me, I don't want to talk about abortion much on this show, but it was.
I do. I get hard.
And that's why he's here. Okay.
Let's face it. Some of those babies deserve it.
Well, I mean, let's poll the chat. Anybody want to say which babies deserve it? JFK Headchuck. Wait, are Haitians eating babies now? So there was again some spin, and this goes back to my friends at Newsmax. Boy, I have a lot of clips from Newsmax I didn't pull. I don't even know if I'm going to have time to get to the ones I did pull at this rate. But they said, well, there are 6 states where it's legal. I'm like, all right, you're gonna have to show me that.
Right.
And I don't
want to see the body. I want to see you do it.
You want to see Greg Henry perform an abortion? Tommy getting made $20. Every hot mic is a guy I like. Now that's somebody who understands the show. Honestly, if we ever don't hit the goal in an episode and we get a bunch of $2, that should be my default sign off for shows where we don't get that. All right. So maybe we'll cool the temperatures a little bit. We're talking about killing babies and whether or not it happens. And I'm not trying to demean people's feelings. But again, facts don't care about your feelings. And I can't see what Douche is saying. So go ahead and read it.
Douche is saying Zane is infuriating. You see, Douche of the Dabbleverse is very sensitive. And he gets very upset. But when I do my job here, okay, it's like pay my hand, slap my hand. Thanks for the $2. Oh, everybody gets mad and butthurt. That is what Douche of the Dabbleverse is all about. That's where he makes his bed. It's a goddamn embarrassment to humanity.
Well, I love Douche of the Dabbleverse. He's a great guy, and you'll hear from him a little later in the show. He and Mumbling Nick have the counterpoint of post-debate coverage.
Well, I'm happy. I'm happy because I think that they're all very talented, but my God, what a bunch of children.
And keep in mind, did he just give us money or was that from the poor chat?
He gave us money.
Oh, yeah, he gave us $5 earlier.
Give us $5. It's very sweet.
Douche can say whatever he wants. Yeah. He gave us money.
He can say whatever he wants, but I have to respond to his stupidity.
All right. Well, that's Eric Zane, host of the Insane Asylum. That is not me. Anyway, back at the beginning of this segment that I feel like started, a few minutes ago, Trump had a solid line about how Kamala doesn't have a plan. She just copied Biden. And I liked the C-spot run. You didn't seem to be blown away by it. I thought it was pretty funny, but that's all right. Now that we know what gets you hard, I don't know how much stock we can put in on your reaction. So thankfully, when the topic of replacing Obamacare comes up, Trump's got himself a plan. So otherwise he would look foolish.
No, you still do not have a plan.
I have concepts of a plan. I'm not president right now. But if we come up with something, I would only change it if we come up with something that's better and less expensive. And there are concepts and options we have to do that. And you'll be hearing about it in the not too distant future.
I'd like to set the Vegas line on when we get his replacement for Obamacare plan. I'm going to set the line. I want to set the line at never, but I'm going to set the line at October 20th. Let us know in the chat if you think we'll get it before or after that.
That would be a wonderful thing to run on, frankly. I mean, if you've if you've been opposed to that and say, hey, it's too expensive for the American people to live on Obamacare, which, by the way, I've lived on it for the past 5.5 years, and there are some real expensive sides to it, without a doubt.
Yeah.
I'd be anxious to hear that. I would love to hear that. So get your shit together and talk about it.
If I were a far left operative, I might take that clip and say, oh, you can't find a better and cheaper version of Obamacare because I guess it's good. I don't know. I've had it too. And it's when I had my kids, I had the state healthcare, and we were very glad to have it. Now we've got fancy Writers Guild insurance, so I don't have time for any of that bullshit. But, I remember I used to be like you, everyone, okay? I used to have poor insurance too. I think you're a bad influence on me, Zane, but that's why I think we keep having fun.
That's good. That's good. It makes me feel good.
All right. I've got one last clip from the debate. I'm sure J.D. Vance was so excited to hear his name come up, and he was probably thrilled that his new buddy Donald Trump was going to stand up for him.
Get a yes or no, because your running mate, J.D. Vance, has said that you would veto it if it did come to your desk.
Well, I didn't discuss it with J.D. In all fairness, J.D., and I don't mind if he has a certain view, but I think he was speaking for me, but I really didn't. Look.
But if I could.
Yeah, so just literally throwing J.D. This is about a national ban on abortion. And JD said he didn't have the talking points. So Trump just kind of laid him out a little bit there.
So
go ahead.
Yeah, that's interesting. I just wish that Trump had the wherewithal to videotape. I'm hoping he did all of his interactions with Vance when he looks like an idiot, so that, I mean, he could make so much money if he decided to create content and just show videos of him yelling at J.D. Vance when he does something that makes him look absolutely ridiculous. Can you imagine what it's like getting yelled at by? It'd be like the show The Apprentice.
I wish I had this drop. Longtime Howard Stern fans will remember. There's a drop that Fred would play often. It's from a submissive porn. I believe it's a gay submissive porn, where the sub says, "Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you," and I feel like that might be J.D. Vance's interaction. So I can't believe we're 52 minutes in, and now we're getting to the after the debate. But this, to me, this is the best stuff. All right.
Oh.
Maybe I leaned a little heavy on the debate.
No,
proper.
well, I know for a fact that everyone in the chat loves every word that we are saying.
Awesome. I'm glad
we are getting a nonstop comments that support everything we say, even if they like douche of the Dabbleverse and Reverend Shitstain. They may not like what I say, but they know that this is what moves the meter and keeps this show north of 100 viewers at any given time. God damn it.
That's right. Now you just dared like 20 people to duck out of the live stream, but that's all right. That's fine. So I want to stay with our buddy JD Vance. As I was talking about earlier, he's very proud of the cat memes that he's been sharing to get people talking about Springfield, Ohio, and, eating pets, using them for food. So he is asked about it, and then he kind of responds to what David Muir said during the debate.
Well, city officials have not said it's not true. They've said they don't have all the evidence.
They said they have no evidence.
We've heard from a number of constituents on the ground, Caitlin, who both firsthand and secondhand reports.
So the reason I have this clip is that we've heard on the ground both firsthand and secondhand reports.
Well,
okay.
So wait a minute, sir, what did you see? I actually saw a French-speaking Haitian, not sounding like a Mexican, eating a dachshund.
Well,
and then there's another story. What's the story? Well, I heard it from another guy who said he saw a Haitian eating a fucking Doberman Pinscher. So that's the first-hand and second-hand. That's what J.D. Vance is saying there. They've got first and second-hand reports of dog eating in Springfield, Ohio. That's what he just said on TV.
And the Reverend did text me. He said there's a police report of geese being eaten in the park. That sounds delicious.
Okay, that's not a dog.
I will take you up on that.
And
I want to hear about people's pets. Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, come on, that's good.
I mean, that's like eating a turkey. God damn it! Did I just steal your joke?
No, we said it at the same time.
Oh, we did.
Jinx.
Yeah. So
twinsies.
Why the fuck does everyone so worried about the animal population in Springfield, Ohio? It doesn't fucking matter. Who cares? Okay, everybody's dog is dead from the Haitians. Next up.
Now Eric Zane's talking some sense. Who cares about Ohio? I hear it. So Zane, you missed it last week. We had a great clip of Megyn Kelly saying that CNN's Caitlin Collins should try to have fun, smile, and not be such a bitch. That's literally what she said. It's a great clip. You missed it. You were sleepy. That's all right. So Caitlin Collins is the one talking to JD Vance here. I think she tries to have fun, which is a good idea with JD Vance because he's such a fun guy.
Well, that your office has gotten a lot of reports. I mean, if someone calls your office and says they saw Bigfoot, that doesn't mean they saw Bigfoot. Why? I mean, you have a sense of responsibility as a running mate, and he certainly does as the candidate to not promote false information, right?
Caitlin, it's a totally fair point, but nobody's calling my office and saying that they saw Bigfoot. What the?
Well, no shit, asshole. There was making a goddamn analogy.
There was a police report of Haitians eating Bigfoot in the street, and I honestly, that would get me to Springfield, Ohio. I want to know what Bigfoot tastes like, and I'm not talking about the Howard Stern whack packer. You know, I definitely want to know. All right. So Trump hits the spin room afterwards. And, I'm sorry. What I want to say about the two clips we just showed. I have given JD credit on one thing. He shows up for everything. He talks to everyone. He doesn't seem to say no. And the other campaign, you don't see them very much.
That's true.
King of all gifts. So I do give huge credit to JD Vance for actually doing these interviews. You know, he could have been sitting there. Well, Newsmax probably couldn't fly to Pennsylvania, but he could have sat with Fox. You know, he could have been talking. He probably sat with them too. But he's going to take Caitlin Collins' questions, even though we know she has resting bitch face. Anyway, Trump hits the spin room afterwards, and he has his take on the evening.
It was my best debate. We had a 92% rating in one poll. We had an 86% rating in another. We had 77% in another. We won every one of the polls that came out tonight, and there were quite a few of them.
You were asked if you would veto a national abortion ban, and you did not say yes or no. What is your answer to that?
So all you have to do is check it. It was a perfect answer on abortion, and I've done a great job in that, and I brought our country together. Thank you.
Yes or no?
Okay.
So,
right.
It
was a perfect answer, just like it was a perfect phone call.
I think that was Caitlin Collins again. It sounds like her, and I don't think I noticed it till right now. So he's like, listen, honey, listen, bitch face. I answered it already. Go check the tape. I don't have time for you. So to show the Devilverse, your mom's box is in. See, this show's never been more fun. By the way, I realize we're going to have to do another Wednesday show because October 1st, JD Vance and Tim Walz are going to debate, and that might be the only other debate we get. But we'll deal with that when the time comes.
Now you notice, chat, that when you say horrible things about me, you know what I'm not doing? I'm laughing because you're funny, you dumb dicks.
Yeah, I think that shockingly, you're giving me an opportunity to reuse my Star Trek clip.
I'm laughing at the superior intellect.
And that's the chat right there. The great Ricardo Montalban with his really distracting pectorals, but I don't think that's what this show's about. Maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, Eric Zane is facts. Eric Zane doesn't care about your feelings.
Yeah.
All right, so Trump bebops over to another corner of the spin room. So the clip starts off, somebody asks, why didn't you look at her? And I'm like, oh, yeah, he didn't look at her. I didn't even realize it. He looked at the moderators.
That's right.
She was busy making goo-goo eyes and kissy faces at him or whatever that shit was. But
why wouldn't you look at her? The polls are indicating that we got 90% 60%,
Wait.
72%,
Well, hold on.
71%, and 89%.
Listen to
Where are
this
you
again.
getting these numbers from?
So there's the question. Where are you getting these numbers from? And I'm glad that whoever that was asked. I think that not every woman at one of these things is Caitlin Collins. So I think it's somebody else, actually. So I did look. The polls in question, Inside Paper, political polls, and I did hear. So these are from his Truth Social. These are the polls that he shared. So this is where the numbers come from. These are polls. They are online polls from people watching. So you'll hear like 93% on Daily Caller, which is the site that had been started by Tucker Carlson. And I honestly forget what the other one was. It might be Newsmax. I believe Newsmax had 93-6. And there was one that had like 19. Yeah, there was like one that had 19% for the moderators, like who won. Yeah.
They're polling Trump audience members or Trump supporters. Is that what they're doing?
watching? They're watching on Twitter, and it is called X now. And I'll tell you, X is a lot different from Twitter.
Okay.
There's that button that's like you might be interested in shit you don't follow. There's some wild stuff in there, and I think that might be where those come from.
Yeah, maybe. Right. I mean, it's. I guess it all is in who you ask. I mean, if they support their guy, I would run with that too. I'd say 100%. I would just, if they're going to throw out numbers, I mean, I would just say no one like Kamala.
Who's on the Newsmax X account voting for Harris so that we get the 6%?
Yeah, and if you're going to give home cooking, you can't have it reasonably close. The one of them was like 57%. Fuck that shit. You got to go 90 and up on all of these. If you're just going to make shit up, I would.
So Trump sits down with his buddy Sean Hannity.
Second debate. What's your answer?
She lost. She wants it because she lost.
So that's why she wants a debate. And one of the main reasons that I have this clip, look over Trump's shoulder. There's our buddy Vivek.
I see
Ramaswamy.
And all those white faces, I see. There he is. Yeah. Vivek Ramaswamy.
How many people in that room tossed their keys to him because they thought he was the valet? I don't have an answer for that, but I do know that Ann Coulter would never vote for him because he's Indian.
Do you have an answer?
Well, I don't know. I have to think about it. But if you won the debate, I sort of think maybe I shouldn't do it. Why should I do another debate? She immediately said, we want another debate. That's, you know what happens when you're a prize fighter and you lose? You immediately want a new fight.
You want a rematch.
You want a rematch. The guy that won is sort of happy and thinking about it.
Would you be inclined to say yes, or you
maybe
don't know?
if it was on a fair network, I would do that. But
I think let Hannity moderate it.
Yeah, no, I think
like I did Newsom and Ron DeSantis.
I think it would be fair. You would be fair, actually.
I would be
you
fair.
want to know the truth.
I want to ask. I want to toss this to our chat. How fair do you think Sean Hannity would be as a debate moderator? I'd like their answers.
I think it'd be better if he wasn't fair. I mean, I would want that. I would want the moderators to be Musk, Hannity, and anyone else you can think. Coulter.
Well,
bring them all in.
Legitimately, if you want to put Sean Hannity and Rachel Maddow on the same dais and they take turns asking questions, it's probably better than anything we've ever gotten. But that, nobody's going to agree to that.
If Harris is worth anything, I think it would help her immensely if she said, I will debate you on any network you like, whatever. I don't care the terms. Do one of those deals because it puts the ball firmly in his court. Now he has to shit or get off the pot. I could be a political analyst. Okay. I could run a goddamn campaign. I know shit.
Yeah. No, I mean, look, I'm not saying you don't know shit. I think we all know you know shit. Obviously, you're the brains of this operation. Zane is Helga without the wig. Smaller cock too, from what I understand. That's I don't know.
Look, my
JJ
dick is
can
big.
confirm or deny.
It just doesn't work. All right. I have a dick that's broke. That's what he keeps referencing. God damn it.
Yeah. So to that point, about a debate, and he's talking to his buddy Hannity there. He called into Fox and Friends this morning, and it came up again, another debate.
President, I know when we started the interview, you said that you felt that you won the debate last night, your best ever. I think before the debate happened last night, the Kamala Harris people said that they would actually like to do another debate in October. And I know that last night Fox News sent letters to your campaign and her campaign.
Spit it out.
Offering 3 dates of debates moderated by Martha and Brett. One is October 9th in Arizona.
Well, I wouldn't want to have Martha and Brett. I'd love to have somebody else other than Martha and Brett. I'd love to have, frankly, Sean or Jesse or Laura. Somebody else. Let's give other people a shot. But I didn't think Martha and Brett were good last night. I thought Jesse was fantastic.
All right. I assume you didn't watch the Fox post-debate coverage. If you had to guess, of those names that he said, who do you think thought he had a good night, and who do you think thought he had a bad night?
Martha and Brett he had a great night.
No, he doesn't want to talk to them.
Doesn't want to talk to them.
They thought he had a bad night. But Jesse Waters was like,
Okay.
yeah, man, Trump was just being Trump. He had all the lines that you remember. And I have these clips, but
I'm happy he interrupted that fucking twerp. By the way,
you know who that is?
No,
that's Steve Ducey. That's our buddy Peter Ducey's dad.
Okay, well, he's shit. That guy. It took him forever to say it. It's like, come on, dude, spit it out. What the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah.
Ugh.
Well, let's get back to last night and the news, the real news out of last night. There was this debate. There were some reactions. There was quite honestly a lot of bullshit happening. But when it comes to the important moment, we might have to spend another hour talking about just this right here. Because first, she came for our radios. Then she took football away from all of us. And now she's raining on the parade that was my little debate party. And this comes from an interview Rachel Maddow was doing with Kamala Harris's running mate, Tim Walz, when she's handed something hot off the presses from the internet.
Posted online by a woman you might have heard of whose name is Taylor Swift. And she has posted this online along with a photo of her cat. And I'm going to read to you what she just posted. Quote, like many of you, I watched the debate tonight. If you haven't already, now is a great time to do your research on the issues at hand and the stances these candidates take on the topics that matter to you the most. As a voter, I make sure to watch and read everything I can about their proposed policies and plans for this country.
Now, I'm letting this go for a little bit because I need you to watch the body language of a couple of fellas here on the screen. And you just watch her reading this and just watch Tim Walz reacting to it.
Recently, I was made aware that AI of me, quote me, falsely endorsing Donald Trump's presidential run was posted to his site. It really conjured up my fears around AI and the dangers of spreading misinformation. It brought me to the conclusion that I need to be very transparent about my actual plans for this election as a voter. Okay. The simplest way to combat misinformation is with the truth. Then she says, quote, I will be casting my vote for Kamala Harris and Tim Walz in the 2024 presidential election.
So she's,
look at this.
They're both like two giddy schoolgirls.
Yes.
She's having trouble getting the words out. He clutches his heart, which, you know, at his age, we watched him go to the Minnesota State Fair. I don't think he eats very well, you know. I was a little concerned about a possible future vice president here. So she's going on and she's reading about him. Oh, that's one for Eric Zane to read.
I don't.
I didn't even see it.
That was an accident.
I had my bad glasses on.
I think there's something wrong with my mouse.
Yeah, I can't even see that one. And
I didn't really want to put that up there. It says something about Walz's retarded son like Swift, and that's horrible.
That's the best. That's the most Eric Zane. That's the most Eric Zane move you could do. 3 times you act like you're not going to do it, and then you actually read it all the words.
My mouse is busted and it keeps posting Walz's retarded son like Swift. That's fucked up, man.
Well, I was wondering if perhaps it might run in the family because I was thinking that Tim Walz looked like a bit of a blubbering bitch boy, especially when she gets to the end of Taylor's statement.
And impressed by her selection of running mate Tim Walz, who has been standing up for LGBTQ plus rights, IVF, and a woman's right to her own body for decades. I've done my research and I've made my choice. Your research is all yours to do, and the choice is yours to make. I also want to say, especially to first-time voters, remember that in order to vote, you have to be registered. I also find it's much easier to vote early. I will link
want to
where
hear
to
from
register and
Walz.
find early voting dates and info in my story.
He's
With love and
giggling.
hope, Taylor Swift.
So we'll get to his reaction in a second. You know, there's a narrative that this guy isn't masculine enough. Do you think this clip is helping him or possibly hurting him?
No, not at all. This is he is the father of all Generation Z.
Yeah. Well, it'll get a little bit worse for that narrative in a second.
Swift signed childless cat lady. I have to get your response to that, Mr. Governor.
All those things, I am incredibly grateful, first of all, to Taylor Swift. I say that also as a cat owner, a fellow.
Yeah.
So he's a cat owner. Yeah, I know. I played an extra minute of the clip.
I want the AI villains to actually make her eating the cat. That would go well with what's gone on in the last couple of days. And I don't know, maybe some crazy story that she's actually Haitian and lives in Springfield, Ohio. Perhaps that would help. I don't know. But I actually am inclined not to vote for Harris because of Taylor Swift. I wouldn't have done it. She shouldn't have said anything, because anybody who likes Taylor Swift, there's no one who likes Taylor Swift that's voting for Trump in the first place.
Yeah. I mean, what percentage of the fan base is voting age? You know, I think there's, there's at least 30-40% that can't vote anyway. But from the great Troy Smith in the chat, Zane is clearly the more educated host here. Sorry, Christian, at least you have your looks and giant rod. Goddamn right, Troy Smith. The great Troy Smith.
I'm going to see Troy on October 25th.
Yeah, which, by the way,
bag.
I didn't promote the Magic Bag because it, as they say in show business, it went clean. It's sold out. There's no tickets left.
Motherfucker.
So
right.
I'm excited to at least hear the episode that's recorded at the Magic Bag. Excited
I'm
for all
also
that.
announcing that if anyone goes there and wants to fight, I will fight you in the goddamn street out in front of the Magic Bag.
Don't say that. He'll go out in front of your house and try and get you to come into the street to fight him. Roll up. So you were very critical a moment ago when we saw Steve Doocy from Fox and Friends. He definitely instilled in his son the importance of getting the soundbite, because the interview's over and then he realizes, oh yeah, I got to ask Trump about one more thing.
Where after the debate last night, Taylor Swift endorsed Kamala Harris. What do you think?
Well, I actually like Mrs.
Make your brain reach
Mrs.
for it.
Mahomes much
There
better
you go,
if you want to
Mahomes.
know the truth. She's a big Trump fan. I was not a Taylor Swift fan. It was just a question of time. She couldn't. You couldn't possibly endorse Biden. You look at Biden, you couldn't possibly endorse him. But she's a very liberal person. She seems to always endorse a Democrat, and she'll probably pay a price for it at the in the marketplace.
I just need to point out that Taylor Swift, I am not a fan. Someone who makes literal billions of dollars every month for selling out football stadiums.
Yeah.
I don't know that this is going to hurt her.
Yeah, well, he's got Lee Greenwood. So, I mean.
And Kid Rock. I mean, if the KID is going to come out, I'm there. But
Bob Ritchie, Lee Greenwood, motherfucker. He's set when it comes to celebrities. And Mahomes' mommy, I guess.
Well, that's his wife. That's his wife. Yeah, so he'll explain that.
But no, I like Britney. I think Britney's great. Britney was got a lot of news last week. She's a big MAGA fan. That's the one I like much better than Taylor Swift.
So yeah, so
is
he's
she really?
She liked a Trump comment on Instagram or a post or something. So then she was just like, "Yeah, I mean, leave me alone." You know,
there's no fucking way that Patrick Mahomes' wife is voting for Trump. There's no way. I don't believe that.
I don't know, but there was speculation that Taylor and she didn't sit together.
Well, maybe.
No,
Maybe.
she was next to Travis Kelce's dad, and then they went to the U.S. Open. The Mahomeses and the Kelce's, Taylor Swift, Kelce, and everybody hugged. And I've got annoying clips that'll probably be for next week. All right, so that was a very Trumpy response. Like, yeah, I don't like her anyway. I'm more of a Brittany Mahomes guy. I love that. See, I'm sprinkling in the Trump stuff. There's still great moments. We're still getting great moments, but Fox and Friends was very friendly with Trump this morning. And I've got 5 clips I'm skipping because I know I can see what the time is. But I know I can't help it. All right. I get excited. But I think that this one might hurt. This is Brit Hume on Fox News last night.
Trump had a bad night. He rose to debate repeatedly when she baited him, something I'm sure his advisors had begged him not to do. In the first debate when Biden attacked him, he just kept his cool and kept going. In this debate, he rose to debating, and we heard so many of the old grievances that we'd long thought that Trump had learned were not winners politically. And there they all were, talking about how he didn't lose the election and all that. I mean,
we didn't even play any of that stuff because it's like the least interesting part of it. But yeah, so it's just like, it's just more of the same. And this is not what people were looking for. And Fox News was not kind to him last night, except for Jesse Waters and Sean Hannity. I mean, he was sitting next to him. Sean, I believe, told him he had a great job. And look, I do know that there are people who feel that it was a great night for Trump. In terms of substance, not really a great night for Kamala Harris, but she definitely achieved her objective.
Wow.
And there's the notion that it's 3-on-1 with the moderators. A few people say that. I think that comes up in the video we're going to have. But you kind of have to be ready for that. And also, again, don't talk about dumb shit if you don't want people to check your dumb shit. Okay.
Yeah, he did do outstanding in that Biden debate, if you remember. I mean, and he just let Biden do what Biden does, which is be horrible. And similarly, I think that kind of happened last night, and kind of like what Brit Hume was saying.
Biden basically went, he's got the morals of an alley cat. That was basically his whole defense or his whole attack.
Mm-hmm.
So I saw a post that I thought it was worth noting. Kamala Harris spoke for 37 minutes, and the amount of time she spoke was 23. Trump spoke for 42 minutes, and he spoke 39 times. I just think that's interesting. Maybe no one in our chat does, but
thanks for the factoids.
Well, he got a lot of time to talk is my point. But yeah, you're probably not wrong. So as I mentioned, and again, I'm not staying up till 2:30 in the morning and not getting to these fucking Newsmax clips. So I watched their post-debate coverage, and the first thought all I could have was, has Dick Morris lost weight?
I think overall tonight, it was a disappointing night for Trump and Trump supporters because Harris was able to put up a facade that was hard to penetrate, hard to see through. And if you compare what she said about herself with what I know to be the facts about herself, it was disappointing.
He looked like one of those fucked up guys on Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. Jesus Christ, look at him.
Ladies and gentlemen, with post-debate coverage, we go to Glass Joe. Glass Joe, what do you have to say about the debate last night? And
that's Dick Morris?
He definitely sounds like somebody who had his jaw broken. He supposedly had a foot fetish. I guess that he, at some point, stopped just putting them in his mouth and started just consuming them in one bite.
I didn't hear a word he said.
Yeah, it was tough to hear it through what looks like padding. When they put a fat suit on, like Colin Farrell plays the Penguin on this show on Max that I keep seeing commercials for.
This is why I hate the elderly.
Yeah, there's like hardly anybody you like. All right. Well, let's see if Newsmax was maybe able to finally get their narrative into Don Corleone. They made me a pizza I couldn't refuse. So now we have, honestly, this is like the one black guy they know. So they had him on, and I thought this was actually a funny clip talking about Kamala Harris.
Knock him off a little bit. I think the condescending tone, it's kind of like a narcissistic, manipulative teacher. You know, we've had those teachers that just don't care. They're never in a good mood. They're not happy, but they'll smile to your face while they're lying to you to then try to get you to do what they want you to do.
So I think that's that kind of seems to be a big part of the narrative, you know, is that she is a liar, and she will smile while she's lying. And in general, people don't like her, you know.
Good liars do. I mean, I do it all the time.
All the time. when you say I absolutely qualified for this job. All right. So I think this actually isn't Greg Henry, but this is immediately after the debate. And you'll notice, I'll explain for our audio audience, there's a female co-host here, but don't expect to hear anything from her.
Yes, you can take somebody who's never flown an airplane before and put them in a cockpit, in a captain's suit, and put them in the cockpit and say, wow, that looks like a great pilot. That looks like somebody who can fly the plane. Meanwhile, the guy who has 10,000 hours of flight time is going to be slightly haggard, maybe not the most graceful looking person, but can actually do the job of flying the plane. This was an illusion. The moderators, shame on them. Absolute shame on them.
His co-host smirked.
I want to say something else.
Like
Every
not
now
open
and
her
then there was
mouth.
the giddiness
She knows
of
her
Kamala
place.
Harris, and it was the giddiness and smugness, I believe, Michelle, of a bank robber in the middle of a bank robbery, giddy that they're actually getting away with it.
So there's a little
lot
bit
of
more.
analogies. Boy,
So
he's
she's
full
a
of them.
pilot who doesn't know how to fly.
Right.
And she's also a bank robber.
Yes.
Which I guess she knows how to do because look, she's an elected official. Everybody knows how to steal money. That's fine. He's not gonna deprive her that.
But the SWAT team is on the way. I just
Which is a terrible comment.
He is so corny. This
The
guy.
idea that
What
the
a-
SWAT
what a
team is on the way.
cornball.
Well, there's a reason he's on Newsmax.
And he's got, look at the, I mean,
only
he's got
part of
that
it is
lean going. What a
Eric,
fucking dick.
Eric, as someone who takes such pride in your hair, what do you think of this asshole's rug?
It's despicable, frankly. I can see the line with the tan line, and it's
right here. I see it.
It's horrible. This guy is a disaster. And whoever this chick is, she wants to kill him.
Yep. That's how I feel right now. Oh, the Charlottesville hoax. Again, this bloodbath crap. The arrogance, this lying hustler that is Kamala Harris. I was thoroughly disgusted, and I'm anxious now to hear your thoughts, Mercedes.
Oh, Mercedes. She's like, oh, yeah, thanks for giving me a pile of shit, you fuck.
Nobody gives a shit what you think, Mercedes. And yeah, I clipped it before she started talking. So she's a hustler, a bank robber, and a pilot. She's one away. Well, you know what? She was born Indian, so I guess she is the village people.
Yes, she's fucking Frank
got all those-
Abagnale. Catch me if you can. Knock, knock.
All right. So
The reference nobody gets.
No, we get it. I love that. Come on, catch me if you can. We love that. All right. So a lot of times you've got something loaded, and the reason why I write out so many of my ad libs is that I don't want to forget them. But this host on Newsmax, she's so convinced that this is fucking home run Chippison, home run Cumia. She really feels like I'm going to be able to drop the mic right after this.
She talks about, fictional character. Her whole campaign's on fiction.
Rick, we've got another guest who we.
Her whole campaign is on fiction. I do want to show that again.
And she talks about, fictional character. Her whole campaign's on fiction.
Rick, we've got another guest who we.
Okay. So she heard that the same time he heard that, because she had the posture turn. They were getting ready to go in for the close shot. And then she was ready to do it. And then she's like, oh, fuck. They don't want to hear from the bimbo.
She's literally frowning. She's making that. Nobody liked my joke.
Wow. Yeah, that's the face of Reverend saying powerful pooper about an hour ago.
I'm sure the Reverend is doing great now. And I'm sorry if you're texting me a flurry of goose sacrifice videos. I did happen to just look at that one point. So I need to respect Eric Zane's time. I need to know, do you have about 5 minutes or so? Because I have two 2-minute clips.
Go.
Okay.
Go, goddammit.
So that's our coverage, but I asked friends of the Dabbleverse. I asked Mumbling Nick and the aforementioned douche of the Dabbleverse if they could kind of give us their reactions, their debate coverage. And because Trump won the coin toss, I'm going to have douche of the Dabbleverse go last. So this is Mumbling Nick, who maybe some of you don't know, but you see him in the chat. I don't know if he's here right now.
He is. He is here.
Okay. So Mumbling Nick is definitely on the left side of the equation. But I think even if you're disagreeing with what he says to start, hear him out. And you'll probably find that he's not too far off from where a lot of people in the chat are.
Hello, everyone. This is my reaction video to tonight's presidential debate. I had predicted victory for Trump, but I was wrong. Trump is clearly upset that Biden is no longer running. He often came off unhinged right from the very first question, which was about the economy and inflation. And he's talking about cats and dogs being murdered and eaten, babies being murdered right after they're born. Harris is a Marxist who's going to steal everyone's guns. Foreign countries are sending criminals from prisons.
I mean, some of these things
lunatics
seem
from insane
legit.
asylums. They're coming to kill and rape us all and steal our jobs. All he wanted to talk about was immigration and himself and how he was screwed. He did terrible on abortion, obviously. He did terrible on healthcare, where they brought up how he's had 9 years to repeal and replace Obamacare, and he still has nothing. Claims he has a framework, but he's not president, so what can he do? Terrible answers. I'm not saying Harris came off great. She did come off better than I thought she would, but she still often looked like the out-of-touch politician that she is. And at one point, she bragged about having the support of war criminal Republicans, which is not a win. But instead of nailing her on that by bringing up the war crimes of her supporters, Trump just bragged how he fired them all. Harris often laid traps for Trump, and he took the bait every time. The big one being his rallies, where she talked about how he only ever mentions himself and doesn't talk about the American people, and his supporters are so exhausted by that they're leaving early. And instead of responding by talking about the American people, Trump talked about himself and his crowd size, which is exactly what Harris said he would do. Unfortunately, there wasn't a lot of substance in this debate. I wish
You're not wrong, Nick.
In detail about the economy and cost of living, which is the number one issue for Americans, including myself. But of course, they didn't. Not that I expect that they would do anything about that anyway if they were elected. I'm not voting for either of them. But if I had to choose a winner for this debate, I would have to choose. Thanking you. Good keep.
Are we going to get Carl's channel struck because you just did that? What I was going to say was, when you were choking before, imagine if that was how you died, just reacting to this video, and you had the wire, the wire of your mic stand around your neck. I can't fucking believe you put your pants down. You fucking maniac. All right. So we're going to end our debate special with the great Reverend, with the great douche of the Dabbleverse. I find and I expect Eric will be more entertained.
So I thought that Trump won the debate, not only because he just made better arguments, but he also argued against three opponents, that being the two moderators. I think they were both a couple of spooks, CIA type people. That's what it seemed.
I am going to pause that there. I'm glad that you followed up what you meant when you said spooks, CIA type people. I appreciate that distinction.
Like, and Kamala. And I believe that Kamala, she just sounded very rehearsed. She didn't sound like a real person. Trump just, as always, just an ordinary guy speaking some common sense, Kamala just talking like she's going to do this, she's going to do that. And the big point there is that, well, in office right now, Trump made the point, you go down to that pretty White House, down to that Capitol building, and you could get all this stuff done that you're saying you're going to do, you know, and you just won't do it. And if you ain't going to do it now, you ain't going to do it later on. I mean, that's just the crux of the issue right there. Trump really, you know, he wins on the two big issues, that being the border and all those useless forever wars, the Ukraine thing, the Israel thing. And I believe him when he says that Ukraine deal would and the Israel thing for it just wouldn't have happened if he was in office. Here. It would not have happened.
We do not have that
reasons
policy
here, but
and he's a very smart hillbilly. I love him.
Kamala just came off. First of all, she's ugly as a goddamn sin.
Oh, that's not true.
And she actually looks like a camel, and her neck is wider than her head, and she's hard to look at. She's just hard to look at. I think Trump is prettier than that bitch.
Oh,
that's crazy. Chuck. You crossed the line there.
Just keeping it down to the issues. I mean, he just wins. He wins on the border. There's no. You can't twist that. You can't spin that. We know what it was like under Trump.
You went on
see what
boredom.
It's like under Kamala, and just facts is facts. That's what I think of the debate right there.
The fact is, I would have killed myself after hearing this. That's a fact. I wish I was dead.
I'm sorry. Dwight Christian says he gets hot for a dying beanbag. There's a very old beanbag chair in the background of it. I appreciated both of them giving us their opinions. I did put it at the end of the show because
thank God.
Well, I don't see you and I see the world differently. I like you. I think I'm too good for everyone, but unlike you, I don't say it out loud. So you see, that's the difference.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I'm up front with them when I tell them that both of them are retarded. So going forward, we learn who never to turn to for correspondence.
Oh, no. I will be happy to have one of them on after we find out who won the election in probably mid-February or whenever that actually happens. And I appreciate them giving their real-time reactions last night. And thank you for your support, Mumbling Nick. And, of course, also the douche of the Dabbleverse. Yes. I know we've gone long. I think we need a palate cleanser. So let's take a look.
WATB, who are these broadcast history? Who are these broadcast history?
So obviously a tremendous loss for a nerd like me is the passing of the great James Earl Jones. And it gives me an excuse to share a tremendous bit. I don't do this often. I don't even know that I've ever gone and dug out an old Letterman clip, but I feel like it's appropriate because here from the home office in Wahoo, Nebraska is James Earl Jones with David Letterman's top 10 list.
I'm cool when spoken by James Earl Jones. Here we go, number 10.
I can't believe it's not butter.
Yeah. Number 9.
Objects in mirror may be closer than they appear.
Number 8.
J-Lo in the house.
J-Lo in the house.
Yeah, that sounded cool.
Keep building up as the numbers go higher.
Click here now for the hottest sex sites on the web.
Might be my favorite. I like that one.
Number 6.
And the Academy Award for Best Picture goes to Dude, Where's My Car?
More of a time and place.
Number 5.
You're not fully clean until you're zestfully clean.
All right, fine. Number 4.
You mean I get all these great funk classics on just one CD or cassette?
Let's go along with that
one. Number 3.
Well, now, wait a minute. That makes no sense at all. The number 2 cool thing when spoken by James Earl Jones.
Meow, 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 meow.
And the number one thing that sounds cool when spoken by James Earl Jones. What's up?
So I thought that was what I wanted to do to remember James Earl Jones. And I thought that after we did more than 90 minutes of debate coverage, let's show people the door. But I don't know. I feel like, Zane, you didn't enjoy that as much as I did.
Well, I don't know. I mean, anytime you have, I'm more of a show your ass on a podcast type of guy.
Had you ever been that type of guy before today?
No, that's for one of the first times I've ever shown my ass in public, but I feel good about it.
I'm never going to forget it.
Who couldn't? I mean, God damn it, you got to make an omelet, okay? And that's what that was. That was an omelet ass there.
When you showed it, we had like 140 people, and now we're at 110. I don't know if there's any correlation.
I don't know. Maybe not. I mean, you never know what you're going to get. I like it. I'm going to do it more often. Next time, I'm going to spin the chair around.
To Wire Christian, he's Easy is inching closer to being full blown bi.
Not that it would matter. Again, see broke dick.
Sam Bibley with a joke. James Earl Jones was only 44 when he died. I believe he was 96. No. And next time wear a bikini thong. Anyway, that is our show. We didn't hit the goal. I'm sorry. We're not going to go into overtime today. Just kidding. We've already done plenty of overtime. Eric Zane, if people want more of you, ass and otherwise, where do they go to do that?
My podcast is everywhere. Just search Eric Zane. You'll find it. And I'd like to also mention that there is an interview that was just published between Ryan Hoppy. You may not know the name. He does a podcast. His guest recently was Chad Zumock.
And
if you want to hear a really delusional view of his own world, take a listen to this show and hear Chad describe his feelings on Carl and E-Rock. It's about a 30-40 minute podcast. I like Ryan. I've known him for quite some time, but as we know, Chad's a fucking psychopath and an idiot. You must listen to this pile of shit.
Chad's like the 19th best comic in Tampa, I believe. I'm not sure if I've seen that. He's been asking for Carl's attention a lot lately, and he got it. And seems to just be on cloud 9, as they say. So I'm always interested in all things Zumock in the way that he's terrible. Speaking of WATP, go to whoarethese.com. You'll find the phone number. You can leave us a voicemail. Mention it's for WATB. And I haven't said this in a while, but remember how sensitive I am. Insult Eric Zane as much as you want, but do not say anything mean about me. And considering that he just showed his ass to people, you might have something to say.
Sorry about that, Carl. You're gonna have to blur that. You got to blur. Can you blur it or just cut it out, Carl? I don't know. I'm sorry.
You're making work for the boss. I think he preferred it when you just took a nap and didn't do the show.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't know what got into me. I really wanted to do that though.
I wouldn't have put you in the big box if I knew you were going to do that. I would have made you a little smaller probably. But I was like, okay, I thought you were going to fart in the microphone. Anyway, also, you can subscribe on Patreon, become a member on YouTube. You'll get at least 2 bonus episodes and watch WATP record live Wednesdays and Saturdays, just like you'll be able to in a little bit more than an hour. Pat Oates is back. You can check it out right here as long as you're a member or you're on Patreon. I'm at Christian DMZ on Instagram and X. I have my own podcast, The Blackcast, BLADTCAST. I believe I'm doing an episode about Beetlejuice with the great Husey and Zane's favorite, Lucy Tightbox. So look for that.
I'm actually on a diet right now and lifting weights just so that in a month and a handful of days, if she's there, she might feel a tingle if she sees me.
Well, she's going to be blinded by the hair. And I
lovely.
She's delightful, and we're all better for having known her. In any case, that finally is all the time for now. I'm Christian Bladt, reminding you, every mic is a hot mic, And every hot mic is a guy I like. We'll see you next Tuesday. We'll be back on our regular day next Tuesday. Thanks, everybody.